I'm Bernadette Wagner, and I'd like to welcome you to Healing, Hope, and Health, the program proudly brought to you by Hospice of Washington County. As our county prepares to celebrate National Social Work Month, I'm pleased to welcome one of HWC's own social workers, Rick Steele, to today's program. Prior to becoming a social worker, Mr. Steele was a photojournalist for 14 years, working in Europe, Asia, Africa, the Middle East, and across the United States. After returning from India in 2009, he taught photography at an art college before pursuing his degree in social work at the University of Maryland. Rick, who has been employed with Hospice of Washington County for 1 year, said he always wanted to be a hospice social worker. In addition to supporting HWC's patients and helping families navigate complex medical, social, and emotional issues, Rick is a gifted musician and singer who graciously shares his talent. This past year, Rick and another HWC colleague, Billy Joe Reisinger, sang a moving duet at HWC's annual Helping Hands of Hospice event. Welcome, Rick. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. So you have it's an unusual background. Not many folks get to travel the world for 14 years. I'm guessing you saw some really fantastic things and maybe some horrific things too. Did any of those things coalesce to make you want to be a hospice social worker?
Well, I think journalism and social work at first appear to be very different kind of pursuits, but I think they're both interested in social justice and trying to have an impact on people you're working with. Journalism is much more kind of on a macro level. You want to bring attention to a social issue or some story that's occurring in somebody's life. And I think this is just a continuation of the same journey, but just working with individuals and their families. So it's been a really good transition for me out of photojournalism into social work.
That's great. Those skills that you learned there, that compassion, translation very nicely.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yes.
How many social workers serve Hospice of Washington County's patients and families? And I know that we have some different teams. Can you talk about that for us?
Certainly. There are a total of 9 social workers at Hospice. There are 2 per team, and there are 4 teams at Hospice with 1 social work supervisor, Brett O'Hartley.
Okay.
So each team has 2 social workers.
And if I don't know if there's such a thing, but if there is, can you tell us what a typical day for a hospice social worker looks like? What kinds of issues do you help patients and families navigate?
Certainly. First, you're right, there probably really isn't a typical day because what makes the job so interesting is that your day can really change at a moment. An emergency will pop up or somebody is in need of you, and you'll kind of rush to where you're needed most. But as a whole, the day would be you would look at your schedule in the morning, kind of prioritize maybe who needs attention that day. You start making phone calls to see who is ready for a social work visit. And more often than not, we start at facilities in the morning because those patients are there and we know we can find them.
Right.
And typically if people are home patients, they prefer visits late morning, kind of into the afternoon.
Right.
So we kind of often we structure our day like that.
Okay. And I know that social workers have, they're well known for their ability to work and play well with others, and that you work closely with some other agencies in our community. Can you talk about some of the other agencies and collaborative efforts that the social workers do?
Sure. We are really lucky here in Washington County to have some really great partners that we work with often who help us serve our patients. One of those is the Commission on Aging. They have some wonderful programs that really help us. For example, they have the Meals on Wheels program that we have certainly signed up our patients for. And then we also partner a lot with the different nursing homes and assisted living facilities here in Washington County.
That's great. Do you also partner with local hospitals and mental health facilities? And I don't know, I imagine that you help people navigate medication and equipment and that kind of stuff?
Often. We have our medical equipment is delivered by HME, and I'm so sorry, I don't even know what that stands for.
Okay.
Home medical equipment makes
Home
sense.
medical, yeah.
So we certainly partner with them. Sometimes we'll get patients who have a history of mental illness or a psychiatric diagnosis, and they'll have a history with some of the local mental health agencies in the area. Turning Point is one, for example.
So basically, you'll partner with anybody in pursuit of solving and addressing the concerns that the patients raise.
Whoever is going to most effectively serve that patient, we are going to partner with them and do everything we can to ease the journey of the patients that we're servicing.
Rick, do you have a story that you go back to, that you revisit in your memory, that you recall that brings you particular joy that you've had as a hospice social worker?
You know, there are so many. This job is incredible in the sense that I am often left in awe of the people that I've run across. I have seen stories that I just can't believe. For example, I recently had a husband whose wife had early onset Alzheimer's. He has cared for her for 3 years, single-handedly, which is just, I cannot believe that. He just wants to keep her close by.
Yeah, that's really committed love right there.
It is, and I've seen so many examples of that in the families that we're working with.
So obviously your life is as enriched as you enrich others' lives.
It certainly is.
That's
it
great.
certainly is.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I really appreciate the chance to come.
I'd like to thank Rick for joining us today and for explaining the critical role played by Hospice of Washington County social workers. I'm grateful to him and all the HWC's dedicated social workers for the difference they make in the lives of those they serve. Mary Rose McGeady, director of Covenant House, is famous for saying, "There is no greater joy nor greater reward than to make a fundamental difference in someone's life." If this is true, then social workers at Hospice of Washington County are some of the most joyous people I know. Stay tuned, we'll be right back after this brief message.
I'm the hometown favorite.
I'll outsmart you.
I will beat you.
I'll be surrounded by fans cheering me on.
There's no place like home for fighting cancer.
My turf.
My time.
My team.
Expert care, close to home. The John R. Marsh Cancer Center at Meritus Health.
It's here. It's breathtaking. It's ultra fast. Gigabit Internet. Fiber to your home. Fiber to your business. Antietam Cable, making Hagerstown a gigabit city.
Living with a chronic disease is a daunting situation, but with help from Life Care of Washington County, you don't have to feel overwhelmed. With our palliative care team, we can help you manage symptoms and the weight of illness. Life Care of Washington County is there by your side, maximizing treatment options, increasing the quality of life, and partnering with you as you face the challenges ahead. Life Care of Washington County, we're with you. You don't have to struggle alone. Call today for a private consultation.
I've been working with Linda McCullum now for 20 years. The people in the office are very knowledgeable of what they do, and they're also very caring and customer oriented. Our little granddaughter, when she says, "Pappy, I love you," that's just so precious. If I wouldn't have had the hearing aid on, I wouldn't have heard it.
Let McCollum Hearing Center help you rediscover the sounds of your life.
Welcome back to Healing, Hope, and Health, where I now have the privilege of introducing Barb Leatherman, Clinical Coordinator at Meritus Home Health. Barb received her RN degree in 1984 and for the past 33 years has worked as a nurse in a variety of settings, including emergency care, intensive care, and most recently at home health care. Barb's career has been focused on providing quality care for patients and working with them to manage their disease while seeking to improve the quality of their lives. As a member of the Boonesboro Community Life Center Advisory Council, Barb shares ideas and suggests strategies to promote community health and wellness. She joins us today to talk about her efforts to establish a monthly blood pressure screening program at the Boonesboro Community Life Center. Welcome, Barb. I'm so grateful that you could be here.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to have you. So most people think of Meredith only as a hospital, but it's actually so much more. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about Meredith Home Health and your role there?
Well, Meritus Home Health is a department of Meritus Medical Center. We have nurses, we have physical therapists, so all of us work together in the community setting to provide services to patients and clients in their homes.
Okay.
That way they stay comfortable in their home, and we're available to go there.
And so that they don't have to drive into you.
Correct.
So how much of what you do is preventive medicine?
We do a good bit of it is teaching.
Okay.
Teaching and education to patients, families, and their caregivers to make sure that they are knowledgeable about their disease process, they're knowledgeable about their signs and symptoms, that they need to contact their primary care or contact us. A large portion of home health's goal is to prevent rehospitalizations.
Okay.
So it is when you come out of the hospital or skilled nursing facility, it is to try to take care of you in the home and provide the contact with the primary care physician so that you are not rehospitalized.
That's great. That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
It's good for the patient. It probably helps with keeping down their medical expenses as well.
Right.
That's great.
It can shorten the stay. It can shorten your stay at a hospital setting.
Okay. So not long ago, Hospice of Washington County opened the Boonesboro Community Life Center, and we invited community leaders to advise us on programs. And you made a suggestion to have a blood pressure screening program there. Talk to us a little bit about that.
We currently have blood pressure screenings throughout the community. We currently have 7 of them.
Wow, I didn't realize it was 7.
So there are 7. We are from like Mulligansville, Boonesboro, Williamsport. So the one at Boonesboro we decided to have at the Life Center at your request. It is the second Tuesday of every month, and we are there from 11 to 12.
So it's a good time because people can come in, get their blood pressure checked, and then run errands or go out to lunch or meet a friend.
Right.
Yeah, that's perfect. As a nurse, can you explain why it's important for people to have their blood pressure checked routinely? Why is that information helpful for patients?
It's important because it is a sign that can show problems before the problem really appears to a physician.
It's a precursor, I guess.
So you're looking at screening. A lot of the preventative medicine is looking at screening. So when you trend your blood pressure, so you'll get a card and it'll have your blood pressure. If you notice it going up or you notice it trending down, we can always help you contact your emergency care if you need that, or your primary care physician if you would need that.
So if they're doing the blood pressure checks and they notice this, would they advise the patient, the person coming in, I guess they're not patients at that point, but the participant to, now I think it might be helpful for you to contact?
Right, you'll have the paper, and it would just allow you the knowledge that you are having issues with your blood pressure. So it would trigger you to contact your primary care, especially if you were on a hypertensive medication.
And that could be indicative of other issues. That's why you're tracking that.
Like a stroke, things like that.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here and for sharing that information with our community, and for being in our community at 7 different locations, which I didn't even know.
All right. Thank you very much for having me.
I'm grateful to Barb for many things, joining us on today's program, her membership on the Boonesboro Advisory Council, facilitating monthly blood pressure screenings, and for educating us about the services provided by Meritus Home Health. To me, our community is like a giant jigsaw puzzle. Every person is a piece of the puzzle, and that picture is only complete and the puzzle whole when each person does his or her part. I'd like to thank Barb and Meritus Home Health for helping our community to be whole. If Barb has inspired you and you would like to offer a program that benefits the community in some way, give me a call at 301-791-6360. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short commercial.
People don't realize it takes a lot to care for a family member in your home. John's dad was very headstrong, so I think that was a lot for him to get over and try to come to terms with that he had a terminal illness. I would recommend everybody to get hospice involved at the get-go. When you first learn about it, get it set up. It's going to make it, I mean, it's terrible what you're going through already, but it's going to make it easier for you in the long run because we couldn't have done it without them.
Call Hospice today. Hospice of Washington County, when time matters most.
Labor's Office Furniture now has a large selection of in-stock FlexSteel home furnishings. After 43 years of establishing itself as the place to find top brand office furniture at warehouse prices, great deals on FlexSteel home furnishings have come home to Labor's. Stop in to see Labor's FlexSteel inventory today.
Living with a chronic disease is a daunting situation, but with help from Life Care of Washington County, you don't have to feel overwhelmed. With our palliative care team, we can help you manage symptoms and the weight of illness. Life Care of Washington County is there by your side, maximizing treatment options, increasing the quality of life, and partnering with you as you face the challenges ahead. Life Care of Washington County, we're with you. You don't have to struggle alone. Call today for a private consultation.
From the smallest item of jewelry to the largest ceramic elephant, every 10,000 Villages handcrafted product makes a remarkable journey.
All over the world, our products travel similar paths, over thousands of miles and years of artistic tradition. Our handcrafted gifts represent work that builds villages and sustains souls. They are the dream of a better life made real. Every product is a miracle.
Welcome back to Healing, Hope, and Health. Our next guest, Les Bishop, has been involved most of his life in serving his community. He's a veteran of the Korean War who worked as a cryptanalyst at the National Security Agency. After his military service, he pursued an undergraduate degree in government and politics and a master's in international relations from the University of Maryland. In the past, he was involved with the Boys and Girls Club and the BPOE. He's a proud founding member and past commander of the Antietam chapter of Korean War veterans and is also a member of the Funkstown American Legion. Recently, he was elected president of the Joint Veterans Council, which serves to coordinate information among all the veteran organizations in the area. Mr. Bishop joins us today to talk a little bit about his leadership role with the veteran organizations and to explain how these organizations are working to support Dowie's House, Washington County's first hospice house. Welcome, Mr. Bishop. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Burnett.
I'm so glad that you're here. First, let me thank you for your service to our country, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about which branch you served in.
I was in the Army, and as kind of indicated with your intro, I was assigned to the Army Security Agency, which is where I was trained.
And you were breaking codes and that kind?
All those secrets, yes.
Oh, all those secrets, okay.
Yes.
I know you were instrumental in establishing the Korean War Veterans Monument right here in Hagerstown. How long did that project take and what was the effort behind that? What did it involve?
Well, like any big project, money raising was the big effort.
Mm-hmm.
We started that project, I'm not sure whether 2008, 2009, that time frame. Our commander at that time was Wayne Weinbrenner,
mm-hmm.
and he formed the committee that Jim Mobley was the committee chairman. And they had, site selection, raising money, design, all those kind of things were important. The big thing that's worth mentioning, I guess, is that we dedicated that monument in line with the 60th anniversary of the start of the Korean War. And
where is it located?
It's over on Mealy Parkway, Plum Street and Mealy Parkway on the corner there. And it's a wonderful site. It really is. I encourage anybody to go by and take a look at it.
My dad is a veteran of the Korean War too, so I appreciate that.
Oh.
That's terrific. So how many veteran organizations comprise the JVC?
Well, there are 17 veterans organizations here in Washington County that would be eligible to be members of the Joint Veterans Council. Unfortunately, not all of them have signed up this year. I think the number is around 11 or 12 actually,
mm-hmm,
so
mm-hmm.
we're a little bit shy. And that's kind of a problem for us because it means that the word is not getting out to as many organizations as we want, and we don't have their participation in the different projects and things that we're doing as much as we'd like.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So hopefully being on today's program will get the word out a little bit.
We hope that people of those organizations that haven't signed up we'll
do that.
certainly do so.
Yeah, that's great. And but that hasn't stopped your group from taking on a leadership role in helping with fund the Veterans Room at Doey's house.
That's right.
And
That's
tell
right.
us about that.
Well, that all started when Karen Giffen and Neil Glessner came to one of our meetings, and they talked about it and stuff. And at that time, we kind of decided on a little project where we would get the veterans organizations together to pool some money to make a donation to Doey House. Well, that's kind of still in the wind.
Mm-hmm.
But being involved with the Korean War Veterans chapter here in Hagerstown also, we decided that we would not wait, that we wanted to make a donation right away. And so as a chapter, we did donate $1,000 to Doey House.
That's so generous. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, that's terrific. What are the next projects that the JVC and the Korean War Veterans Group will be undertaking?
Well, I'll put it in two different categories. The Joint Veterans Council, the big project that they have now going is that we're trying to construct or erect a Vietnam War Veterans Monument over on South Walnut Street. And that's in the beginning stages. We have a site selected, we have a design selected, and the big thing right now is to get donations for that to make it work. And you know, people who are interested could call me about that. We also have a program we call our Veteran of the Year, and actually we're going to award our Veteran of the Year next Saturday, March the 4th, the Saturday. And the recipient is going to be Wayne Taylor, who I think most people know here in the Hagerstown area.
Well, that's a very worthy endeavor that you're taking on, and I also think it's a real acknowledgement of Wayne.
Long overdue that the Vietnam War veterans have not been recognized the way that they should. We think of our war as the forgotten war, but you know, they were really despised for their participation in serving our country.
Well, thank you for rectifying that.
I hope so.
I'd like to thank Mr. Bishop for being here with us today and for his service to our country and its commitment to help his fellow veterans. Hospice Washington County is proud to support those who have served our country. Abraham Lincoln said, quote, "Honor to the soldier and sailors everywhere who bravely bears his country cause. Honor also to the citizens who care for his brothers as best he can." If you're a veteran or love a veteran, please contact me if you would like to support the Veterans Room at Doey's House or form a support group for veterans at one of our community life centers. For more information, call 301-791-6360. We'll be right back after these messages.
People, you know, tend to want to do things with people they know and trust and respect. And so we see that that's something that happens again and again, and customers are repeat customers because they have that feeling. And the word of mouth that they share with one another and to their peers is so important in terms of generating additional business from us because they really like the feeling that this is a place you can feel good about.
I'm the hometown favorite.
I'll outsmart you.
I will beat you.
I'll be surrounded by fans cheering me on.
There's no place like home for fighting cancer.
My turf.
My time.
My team.
Expert care, close to home. The John R. Marsh Cancer Center at Meritus Health.
People don't realize it takes a lot to care for a family member in your home. John's dad was very headstrong, so I think that was a lot for him to get over and try to come to terms with that he had terminal illness. I would recommend everybody to get hospice involved at the get-go. When you first learn about it, get it set up. It's going to make it, I mean, it's terrible what you're going through already, but it's going to make it easier for you in the long run because we couldn't have done it without them.
Call Hospice today. Hospice of Washington County, when time matters most.
Welcome back to Healing, Hope, and Health. In 2005, in recognition of Dr. Frederick Cass's tireless efforts on behalf of Hospice of Washington County, and in celebration of the organization's 25th anniversary, the Hospice Washington County Board of Directors established the Frederick H. Cass III, MD Scholarship Fund. 5 years later, the fund was expanded and endowed to create the Frederick H. Cass III MD Endowed Scholarship Fund. Every year since, 3 extremely well-qualified recipients have been awarded scholarships to pursue studies in a health-related field. It is my pleasure to introduce Caitlin Gano, a 2016 recipient of the Cass Scholarship. Caitlin, who attended school in the Greencastle Antrim District, excelled in all aspects of her high school career, graduating with a 4.03 GPA while participating in numerous extracurricular activities, including the National Honor Society, sports, jazz choir, and drama. Caitlin currently attends Penn State Mont Alto, where she's a junior in the baccalaureate nursing program. There, like in high school, she has been a stellar student, winning the President's Excellence Award and the Academic Excellence Award for baccalaureate nursing in her freshman and sophomore years, respectively. She's the president of Penn State Mont Alto SNAP, which is Student Nurses Association of PA, and upon graduation, hopes to work as an RN in a critical care setting and then pursue her doctorate and a career as a nurse anesthetist. Caitlin joins us today to talk about the Frederick H. Cass III MD Endowed Scholarship Fund and how it has helped her to pursue her dreams. Welcome, thanks for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
I'm so glad you could make it. So Caitlin, can you tell our viewers first how you learned about this scholarship?
Sure, well my mother actually works at Hospice of Washington County, so being that she relayed the information over to me, it was fairly simple, but there are many ways to actually apply for it.
That's great. And who is eligible besides children or family members of hospice employees?
Besides them, as long as you're a Washington County resident, you can be a graduating senior in high school, as long as you're accepted into an accredited university in the healthcare field. Or same goes, you can be a Washington County resident if you're already attending a university, and as long as you're in the healthcare field and you're maintaining a 3.0 GPA.
Okay, so that makes lots of different people could be eligible for this. And the competition's pretty stiff, but you won, so congratulations.
Thank you.
What was the application, was the process difficult to you? What does the application process entail?
No, it was fairly simple. You just need to fill out the brochure that's required and then fill out a 1,000-word essay on what it means to win a Frederick H. Cass Scholarship and how I would hope to contribute to the healthcare field. You would then need to mail those applications in by April 1st, and then just have 3 references, 2 being academic and 1 being personal.
Okay, and who were your references?
They were actually my instructors.
Okay, well,
Yes.
so I'm sure that was very compelling. So when are the scholarships awarded? When did you find out that you received your scholarship?
They're usually awarded either in May or June, and then they will account for the fall semester of that year.
And what did receiving this Cass Scholarship mean to you? How has, first of all, were you surprised?
I was very surprised. You never know until you try, so I was thrilled when I learned that I'd won it.
And how has it enabled you to pursue your studies?
It really has enabled me in many ways, actually. There's always something to pay for, whether it be tuition, books. It always keeps rising, so really every scholarship that I've been awarded has really been a blessing.
That's great. And what did your friends and your family say when you won?
They were actually thrilled to hear, my mother especially, but I actually told my friends and they thought, well, I could apply for that next year, so it's good to spread the word as well.
That's great, that's great. Would you encourage others to apply for this scholarship?
I would definitely encourage others. Really, I feel like I said earlier, you'll never know until you try, so just getting the word out and just taking as many chances as you can and seeing what happens.
Great, thank you so much for being here, Caitlin.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Caitlin for making time in her busy schedule to come talk with us about the Frederick H. Cass III MD Endowed Scholarship, and for sharing how it can help others interested in studying some aspect of healthcare to realize their dreams. Obviously, Caitlin is a committed, dedicated student, but I can tell, and I'm sure you can too, that these are not qualities limited only to her academic work. The decision to award Caitlin last year's scholarship helped Caitlin, but in a way it helps us all because she will be a dedicated and committed nurse wherever she winds up practicing. If you or someone you know is interested in pursuing a career in healthcare, please encourage them to apply for the Cass Scholarship. For more information, call Hospice of Washington County at 301-791-6360 or visit our website at hospiceofwashingtoncounty.org. Thanks for joining us for today's program. We'll see you next time.